healthy and how healthy he is. So it's really tough right now to put a workload on him without really getting through the end of the week. I'll have a better idea of what he can do as we get more towards Friday. But right now, just good to just see him out there right now trying to work his way back in to do what he's doing. But once he's healthy, we expect Lenny to be Lenny.
Can you just speak to just what he has accomplished this year, what he has meant to your offense, all season?
Oh, man, I mean, you can't beat it, right? It's hard to do better from the running back position for us for what we asked him to do. We asked him to catch it. We asked him to run it. We asked him to pass protect it. Him and Tom has they're really good together out there. They have a good feel for each other. So, like I tell you guys, I think Lenny has grown as a running back. I think Lenny's a pro. And it's fun to see. It's fun to see him go out there and work. It's fun to see what he do with the football. It's tough. He's tough to get down on the ground. So it's good to be able to have a guy like that can run it the way he can run it and can catch it the way he can catch it and can play with the football IQ that he has. Lenny's a unique guy.
Thanks.
Greg Allman.
Hey, Byron, obviously you guys have done this before where you're facing a team in the playoffs that you faced in the regular season. I want to ask you about this Rams defense and what you see as the differences from the unit you saw in week 3 in Los Angeles.
Well, they added a guy named Von Miller, they're just good at what they do. These guys has awareness. They always play good defense there. So they're playing well right now. Obviously, we know the guys up front that attack the quarterback that's trying to get to the quarterback. They're just good at all 3 levels. They're good at all 3 levels. They understand what they're doing. They're well coached. And they just got exceptional players, right? They got exceptional players that know how to play this game. A couple guys that have gold jackets on when they all said and done. So, we got to prepare. This team beat us the last couple times they played us, so we just trying to prepare, get ourselves ready to roll.
Thanks, Byron.
Jonalyn.
Hey, Byron. Hope you're doing well. I know when you face a really difficult pass rush and you faced a tough one against the Eagles, one of the tools you can turn to is that quick passing game, and we saw that on Sunday. Just can you kind of describe where you guys were at even, months ago versus kind of where you are now in that department?
I think we've been just developing and getting better really all year. We go into each game and try to figure out what we need to do that day to win that game that day. So we try to prepare ourselves to be multiple and have a lot of different ways we can try to have success on offense. And that's the way we've always approached it. Now, who we play and who we got healthy will determine the game plan week in and week out. But we just try to be multiple and try to make sure we can do a lot of different things to try to attack people's in all sorts of different ways to try to help our team win football games.
And you've described to us before the challenges of losing skill players in the middle of a game and having to account for those absences. Offensive line is a whole different animal. And I know there's so many things you can do during the week to help out guys if you have to kind of move somebody else into the role, if you have to move Josh Wells into that role, maybe giving him some help with the tight end. Can you just describe kind of, I guess, the benefit of having a week where you could potentially prepare for this scenario versus having to prepare for it, while you're in the midst of a game?
Yeah, and in the game of football, just like last week, it may still happen within the game, right? That's the game that we play. We play a physical, violent game. You try to prepare as much as possible. My job as a coach is to be able to adjust in game, with what's happening, to understand who's out there from a personnel standpoint, who's capable of helping us, and still continuously try to put us in position to have success. So nothing changed for me from that standpoint. Obviously, when you get a week to try to prepare, it's better. But when things happen in game, it happens in game. You got to be able to adjust, have a good feel for it, and still put our guys in position to have success.
Cool.
Hey, Byron, speaking of preparation, I know Bruce talked to us about at one point on Friday, you guys were breaking down 3 different teams. And then on Monday, it was 2 different teams. How much of an advantage is it though for you guys to have had an extra day, right? Than the Rams who now have to go cross country and had to play that Monday nighter. How much does that make a difference when it comes to preparation?
Well, I don't know because it didn't feel like we gained a day. It felt like you gained a little bit, but you didn't gain a full day because you're watching multiple teams. You really have no idea who you're going to play. So that makes it difficult. Obviously, we don't have to travel. So anytime you don't have to travel in the playoffs, that's always a good thing. But I don't know if we gained a full day because we didn't have an idea who we was playing till later on that night on Monday.
Kevin O'Donnell.
Hey, Byron. Rob Ninkovich, who played with Tom up in New England, says he wouldn't be surprised if Brady retired after this season is over. Given the level you've seen him play at this year, just an incredible season, would you be surprised?
I mean, I don't know him. Didn't really hear the comment, but Tom's playing at a high level, man. I'll leave it at that.
Thank you.
Mano.
Hey, Byron, you were around when Raheem Morris was coaching here. Obviously, things didn't go the way he wanted in Tampa Bay, but could you talk to his qualities as a leader and what you saw back then?
Really good coach, really good man, really, and having the opportunity to know him, play for him, play against him when he was here in Atlanta. I mean, really good guy, really good dude, smart guy. Just remember him being a smart football guy, football common sense guy, really aware of the game of football from a technique, from an understanding of what teams trying to do against him and all that. I mean, as smart as they come, players love to be around him, love to be coached by him just by who he is as a human being. So really good coach, really good guy. I'm sure they love playing for him out there.
Steve Isbitz.
Coach, is Scotty Miller, is he a better runner out of the backfield than you expected that he would be?
No. I know everything about Scotty.
Rick Stroud.
Gotcha.
Byron, I'll ask you about another coach you know a lot about, and that's BA. He's been through some battles himself, a little like your team, right? Does he kind of set the tone for there's just no excuses on this club, no matter what happens?
Yeah, I mean, that's the way we approached it since we got here, really, since 19. That's what we all believe in. And we don't have to talk about it. We don't have to talk about it. We understand the situation we in. We understand what time of year it is. We understand what's have to be done to have success this time of year in the National Football League. So we're just trying to prepare, do what we need to do to get ready to play our best football here on Sunday.
Last question will come from Joey Knight.
Byron, you guys have embraced the next man up thing all season long. Have you ever been on a team that's had to embrace it quite like this one? It seems like it's a different unsung guy every week.
Yeah, and it seemed like it ain't stopping. It seemed like every week is something, right? It's something every week. But that's the game. That's the challenges of this game. It's not supposed to be easy for anyone. You expect to be put in tough situations just because that's what the National Football League, it's a tough league. It's tough to win in this league. It's tough to have success. So we prepare for it we go into it with the understanding that anything can happen. Anything's probably going to happen. How we handle it in the situation is going to really determine most outcomes. So we try to be in that situation. We try to prepare everybody. I try to prepare everybody that's on this offensive side of the ball with the awareness that it's a chance that they're going to play. So you approach it like that from the beginning. You approach it like that in OTAs. You approach it like that. I have true confidence in everybody that's on this team. So it's just about whose name and number on the back of the jersey.
All right, that's all I have time for. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Recording in progress.
Hey, Tom, I just want to ask you, we'll see what happens, right, with Leonard Fournette and then what he's able to do if he's able to play on Sunday. But tell me just what he has meant this year, sort of to your offense and his growth. I mean, I guess it started really in the playoffs a year ago, but I know you got other guys too that have played really well.
Yeah, Leonard does a great job when he's in there, and I think his obviously there's a lot of different things for us in the run game, pass game, blitz pickup. Very dependable, consistent player for us. So he's had a lot of production this year. Other guys really stepped up when he was out, but obviously we all love having Lenny in there. So did a great job in the biggest moments last year. I think everyone believes in him and trusts in him and knows he can really come through for us.
Sarah Walsh.
Hey, Tom. What is it about this team? You guys did this last year where you were able to avenge losses from the regular season and the postseason, and now you have the opportunity again with the Rams. And Mike Evans said something to us yesterday, like, I love facing teams that beat us. How do you approach that? Do you look forward to it? And why has this Bucs team been successful in having the right outcome at the right time?
I think that, you got to, all these games are a little bit independent from one another. And yeah, we played them earlier in the year, and a very different team we had. I think a little bit of a different team they had too. So they're each their own individual type of game. They're going to require their own individual performance and stuff. So I think the point is it doesn't really matter what happened, in October when we played them last. It's really about this game and what we learned from the last game. And anytime you know your opponent, I think that always gives you a little bit of understanding of kind of what they do well, things you wish you would have done. But it's a very talented football team. Obviously, one of the great teams in the NFL, really good offense, tremendous defense, really well coached, great specialists. So it's going to be a very, very difficult game for us.
Greg Allman.
Hey, Tom, in your history, obviously you had so much success in the playoffs playing in your home stadium. This team, so much better at home. I think it's 30 points every game except the Saints. Obviously, it's an advantage that you guys earned this year. And just want to ask you why you think you guys have played so much better here in Tampa at home.
I don't know. It's a good question. We'd want to play well every week, regardless of where we play and who we play. Some weeks are a little bit better than others. And, it's, we're going to have to play great this week. That's the point. This team really challenges you. So I'm glad we're playing at home. There's great communication for us. We're going to have to be really on top of a lot of different things, especially a team does as many different fronts and pressures. They have a lot of different personnel packages. A lot of guys come in and rotate for them. So our communication is going to be really important.
Generally.
Hey, Tom, I don't know if you remember this, although you've got a pretty good memory. I was talking to one of your former colleagues about a particular game. It might have been a postseason game where you and Josh McDaniels, like the morning of the game, you made a suggestion to him about moving Randy Moss into the slot on a particular play because you thought it would draw a better matchup. Just can you speak to, first of all, if you remember that, but also just the way you've embraced kind of this chess match and the fact that you are constantly trying to think of ways to get yourself better matchups.
Yeah, I think the preparation, it just obviously starts as soon as the moment ends, and then it goes right up until the start of the game. So, I don't put it past any of us to come in on Saturday morning or Sunday morning and say, hey, I think we should do this, or I was watching some things on Saturday afternoon, and I think maybe this gives us a better opportunity, because you just got to keep using every minute you have to get to ultimately the game. And, I think it's a really important part of preparation is, once you get the game plan in, you kind of keep refining it and tweaking it, and you always get in a position where it's just, you feel like it's a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. And, we do that throughout the week, and obviously it goes right up till kickoff. So, and then obviously into the game, I think we should do this and as a type of adjustment. So those are all really important things to have at your disposal.
Kevin O'Donnell.
Hey, Tom, your success in the playoffs has exceeded, just your accomplishments have exceeded every player in the NFL. You're now being compared to some franchises where you've had more touchdown passes, more wins than most franchises in the NFL. Have you accomplished everything you've wanted to in the NFL, or are there things out there you still want to check off?
I think it's just a credit to all the great teams I've been on. I've just been a part of so many great teams over a long period of time. So I love that I've been able to do it for as long as I've had. I love the game and I love being out there with my teammates. So we just had a lot of success over a lot of years trying to do the right thing. And obviously what we've done here the last, 2 seasons has been a lot of fun for me to learn and grow with these players and our organization and put ourselves in a good position. Now we got to go take advantage of it.
We have time for a few more. We'll go to John Ledyard.
Tom, Mike Evans told us this past week that he loves to see man coverage. I know the Rams, I think, play less man coverage than any other team in the league, but it's not really a true zone when you look at them, right? They have some aggressive matchup principles. How do you prepare for a defense that's kind of unique like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think man coverage is definitely a part of things that we face from time to time, and zone coverage has kind of become man once people come to their area. So this is a really tough matchup. These guys lock onto you pretty good at times too. So they may call it zone, but a lot of times it plays like man, and certain route concepts are guarded like man. So, I think this team does a lot of good things well. Obviously, rush passer well. I think they cover you really well in the secondary. They get a lot of turnovers. They sack the quarterback, strip sacks. They have a lot of dynamic players. Obviously, Jalen Ramsey's one of the great corners in the league. So between the guys that they have in the secondary as well as the front, you have no place that you can take off. These guys they can turn you over. They can make big plays like they did the other night when David Long got the pick 6. So it's a very, very challenging team.
Last one from Jenna.
Hey, Tom, you've been to the postseason so many times, and it almost seems like it becomes a second season for you after Thanksgiving, the month of December on, when a lot of guys can be not just physically fatigued, but mentally fatigued. For you, how are you able to kind of tap into this extra gear psychologically to where you're mentally firing on all cylinders when the postseason comes around?
Well, I think for all of us, it's, repeating good process is an important part about, getting to this time of year. So you don't do much different. You just do more of what got you here. So the things that work, we do more of, you try to eliminate all the other distractions. And I even told Nelson, I won't do anything extra this week. I just want to do football. That's all I want to do to prepare and get ready. So, that's how we should all approach it. This isn't the time for the, trips to the movie theaters or there's a time to lock in on football because, this is all we have is 3 days left and we got to earn more. So you just look at it like that. Everything you can kind of put off till the end of the year. And, we just certainly hope the end of the year isn't Sunday night. We just got to keep, but we have to earn it. You got to go win and move on.
All right. That's all we have.
Thank you.
Hey, Allie. I know it obviously wasn't what you guys expected on Sunday in terms of losing guys to injuries. Just can you speak to the resilience of your group? I know Ryan Jensen didn't miss a snap, but just the fact that you guys were able to overcome the loss of Tristan. And I know that Josh Wells was dealing with a quad injury too.
Yeah, they're a lot of tough dudes. I think that at this point in the year, in order to play offensive line, you're going to be dealing with some stuff. Obviously, we're all dealing with different degrees of injuries here, but Wellesley stepped up and played great. You got to learn how to play banged up if you can.
Obviously, this is a really, really big challenge for you guys this week against this defensive front. What jumps out to you when you watch them?
They do a really good job of trying to figure out ways to get you one-on-one, and they have really good pass rushers. So they do a really nice job there.
Thanks.
Kevin O'Donnell.
Hey, Allie, if you look at the accomplishments of Tom Brady, just in the postseason alone, he's no longer being compared to other players that have played the game. He's now being compared to franchises where he has a chance with 2 more wins to equal the New England Patriots for most wins by a player. Is it just mind-boggling to see what he's been able to accomplish year after year and how every week he seems to be checking off new things?
Yeah, I think like everybody else, it just doesn't make sense to me. It is just next level. I mean, it's just every week it's like they just announce some record and it's usually his record that they broke at the stadium there. It's like, oh, Tom broke another record. So it's just unbelievable.
Would you Rob Ninkovich, who played with him in New England, said that he wouldn't be shocked if Tom hangs it up after this postseason. Given how he's playing and the level he's playing at and the numbers he's putting up, would you be shocked?
Dude, at this point, I was just saying, Tom, just nothing is surprising, right? I mean, it's just like it's everything is surprising. It's just next level, right? I mean, everything that he does is just, I'll never really officially get a read on that guy. It's awesome.
We'll go to Greg Allman.
Hey, Allie. Obviously, a big part of things Sunday is facing Aaron Donald and trying to contain him. You guys are lucky enough to be getting him for the 7th time in your 8 years, I think. It's practically like a division rival. How does that help you that you've gone against him and there's not a newness to having to face a guy like Aaron Donald because you've seen him so many times?
Yeah. When you see a guy a lot, like a division opponent that you see twice a year, you start to get a feel for how they play throughout the course of the game. And of course, they get a feel for you. So it just makes the game that you play, the game within a game, a little bit more complex and nuanced and kind of fun. Yeah, so.
Thanks, Phil.
Yeah.
John Ledyard.
Ali, you've obviously played with a lot of tough guys and play with a lot of tough guys right now on that offensive line. But even in the NFL where there are tons of tough guys, how unique is Ryan Jensen in terms of his makeup?
Yeah, Jensen's a special dude. I think that the toughness and the energy and the attitude that he brings every week is just awesome. Makes it so much. It's just so much fun playing with him, and it's nice knowing that you have guys that are going to compete their butts off every week, and it's awesome to have.
When you saw him down on the field, he looked like he was in considerable pain at first down there near the goal line. What were kind of the thoughts going through your head? Do you think he could come back?
No, I didn't know. I thought that that was probably it for the game. I didn't know how bad it was going to be, but I was expecting Hainsey to come in and finish the game, and if that was the case, Hainsey would come in and do an excellent job. We have a lot of trust and faith with him, and of course, Jensen came back because he's a tough dude and just built different.
We have time for a few more. We'll go to Leo Haggerty. All right, that's all we have. Sorry.
Thanks. It's okay. Leo's just caught sleeping. Classic.
from Greg Allman.
Hey, Shaq, I want to ask you about Sunday. Obviously, a lot of guys coming back in you, in JPP, in Levante, and how much that helps to have the momentum of that going into the playoffs. Do you guys to be that much closer to being fully healthy, and how much of a difference do you think that made on Sunday?
I think it means a lot to have a lot of the veteran leaders back on the defense. Just having that energy and that presence out there, and then Levante having his like everything that he brings a lot to the defense, and having him back just meant a lot, man. And we was able to just take advantage of being back and being healthy and just being able to make plays. And what was the second part? You said how did it affect?
I think you're good. Thanks.
Yeah.
Joey Knight.
Hey, Shaq, I was just wondering if you could assess what you think of the performance of Anthony Nelson and Cam Gill, guys who've been asked to step in while you guys have been hurt. I know you believe they're good players or they wouldn't be on the team, but have they even surprised you?
They most definitely have earned every snap that they got, that they played. They've been taking advantage of their opportunity that was given to them with me and JPP being out. And I'm happy for them guys, man. Like, this is exactly how I got my start and how I bursted onto the scene when I was in Denver. And they just taking advantage of the opportunity whenever they get in it. They seem to make a play, like some way, shape, a pass deflection, a sack, a pressure, a hit, TFL. Like, they taking advantage of their opportunity, and I'm not surprised because I see the work that they put in and day out. I'm just happy that they able to get the opportunity and they taking advantage of it, and everybody's able to see the potential players that they could be with more snaps.
Thanks.
Jenna Lane.
Hey, Shaq, hope you're doing well. And glad to see you back out there. What do you remember most about that game in week 3 against Matthew Stafford? If I remember correctly, it seemed like you guys maybe didn't pressure him as much as you're kind of accustomed.
Yep, that's exactly what I remember. We need to get more pressure. We need to be relentless in our effort to get into the quarterback, getting him off his spot, sacks, hits, pressures, just anything to make him uncomfortable back there. And I think that'll help us be in great position to be able to win a game.
I know last year you guys had 2 losses to the Saints in the regular season, and yet you were able to kind of put that out of sight, out of mind, and go win the division championship, or the divisional playoff, I should say, against the Saints. What's kind of key to doing that this year against a Rams team that you guys are 0-2 against over the last 2 years?
Just as a defense, we need to, like, the pressure is, everything starts with the pressure up front for us. We know they're going to try to run the ball still, but if we hold them on a run, like every now and again, when they're trying to run it, they're going to fall back to passing the ball heavy. So if we able to just to get that pressure, that's going to just help us out tremendously. And I think with the way we've been practicing this week and the game plan, we will be able to get to them. We'll be able to pressure them a lot. And watching film, I've seen teams, like the teams that had success against them. I saw what they did. So I've been trying to implement that in my game a little bit, the stuff that they did that was successful. So I'm banking everything off of pressure on the quarterback to help us win a game and be successful.
Thanks.
Kevin O'Donnell.
Hey, Shaq, Tom just continues to put up incredible numbers during the regular season, during the postseason. He's already eclipsed in 5 games more touchdown passes than all Buccaneer quarterbacks combined. And there's only 4 franchises that have won more games in the playoffs and thrown more touchdown passes than Brady. Does that just kind of blow you away? This just how he's now being compared to franchises?
Yeah, it is crazy to see him being compared to franchises. Like, I already knew, like, he'd been to more Super Bowls or won more Super Bowls than like so many teams have ever played. And then to hear that he got more touchdown passes than all the quarterbacks combined here is in 5 games is like crazy, mind blowing for sure. But it also just lets you know how good he's been his whole career and how he's been on top of his game for such a long period of time. So it's not surprising because he has been in the league for a while and he has been at the top of his game for as long as he's been in the league. But it's still just when you hear a player being compared to team stats, it is still mind blowing.
Given how he's played this season and the numbers he continues to put up, Rob Ninkovich, who played with him in New England, said that he wouldn't be shocked if Tom decided to hang it up after the season. Would you be shocked?
I don't want it to happen at all. I mean, if you want to go out, they always say the best way is to go out is on top. But I don't hang them up, Tom, man. Don't do it.
We'll go to Steve Isbitz.
Shaq, should we assume you're 100%? How you doing?
Yeah, that's safe. That's a safe assumption.
And knowing the Rams and their challenge, what went through your mind when you learned that they traded for Von Miller?
Hey, I knew they was making it tougher on his to be able to get back to the Super Bowl, but it was always going to be a tough road. Last year was a tough road, so I knew it was going to be a little bit harder, but we going to rise to the occasion. We're going to rise to the occasion. We're going to be ready to go.
Last one come from Rick Stroud.
Shaq, sort of what is the scouting report? I mean, you've played Jared Goff, they threw the ball, 50 times really quick on you. What's the scouting report on Stafford? Because prior to this game, when they became balanced, and I think he only threw it 17 or 18 times, he had thrown quite a few interceptions down the stretch. So what is that thing that helps you get the ball away from him?
So initially, once we stopped the run, I think they will 100% fall back onto a pass-heavy offense, quick passes, deep passes, play-action passes, stuff like that. But if we able to, I think his worst games was when he was getting pressured a lot, getting sacked, and QB hits. So once we just get in the game and get our mindset and our relentless rush going of getting after the passer, I think that'll help us out a lot to get him to miss some throws and possibly throw some picks, and we'd be able to take advantage of it. But I think everything in this game is going to consist of, for us to be successful, going to consist of us getting pressure.
Pressure. Yeah. Thanks.
All right, that's all we have. Thanks, Shaq.
Thank you.
Hey, Coach, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. First question will come from Rick Stroud.
Hey, Coach Bowles. I just wanted to ask you, obviously they got a lot of weapons on that side of the ball, right, on offense, but Cooper Kupp has had a great year against everybody. When he's played against you guys, I think he averages about 10 for 120 and a touchdown. How do you begin to sort of account for him or slow him down?
Well, you want to try to stop him from getting yards after catch is the first thing you got to do. He's going to catch his balls. You're going to slow him down from trying to break tackles and get extra yards. You don't want 5-yard plays going for 20 and 15-yard plays going for 50. So we got to tackle better and we got to react to the ball.
Thanks.
Greg Allman.
Hey, Todd, I always feel like safeties are such versatile weapons in your defense, and Sunday was a really good game for all three of your safeties. But I want to ask you about Mike Edwards. Just want to ask you about his ability to know what his speed is to make up ground, and how sometimes he might even kind of bait guys into making throws his way to get some of the picks he gets, if that's something you've noticed about him.
Mike is he's a very instinctive player. He's our most cerebral player. He has a feel for zones and feel for routes and can see what one route is and determine what the other one's going to be, probably better than anybody we have underneath when we go underneath coverage. So he can see the field very well.
Thanks, Todd.
Jenna.
Hey, Coach. Watching the game on Sunday, obviously you had a number of your guys back, but it just seemed like the attitude was different. They seemed to be playing with that kind of confidence they had in the Super Bowl. Did you notice that difference? And if so, how do you kind of capture that and keep that for the remainder of the playoffs?
Well, it's the playoffs. You want to go home. That's energy enough to have everybody flying around. And getting guys back that hadn't played in a couple of weeks is also energy enough, having them back out there and almost having a full unit. So they play for each other and they play hard. We just got to keep it going.
I know back in September when you faced the Rams, you were already shorthanded in your defensive backfield. And I think you lost Dean in that game too. Just how different for you is it calling plays when you actually are able to have maybe not everybody, because I know Sean didn't play last week, but being close to full strength on the back end, how different does that make your job?
It's been different every week. So we've been kind of juggling all year and kind of gotten used to it. It's almost the norm right now. So just whoever's healthy is going to play and we're going to line up and we expect them to perform. So we try to coach it the same way and we figured out what everybody can do and we try to gel that together to make sure everybody's on the same page.
Thank you.
JP Peterson.
Right. Hey, Coach, could you just talk about kind of the evolution of this Rams offense, getting Cam Akers back and Sony Michel? It looks like they're, and certainly last week, they were much more run-oriented. And how much harder is it, to defend the whole field, and especially when they're offering up these new backs in this new running game that seems to be very successful?
Well, they're kind of like us. They got quite a few guys back as well from injury, and I thought they did a heck of a job last week running the football, but we know they can throw it as well. Like you said, they have a lot of weapons. I think it's kind of like pick your poison with those guys. If you stop the run, they can throw it. If you stop the pass, they can run it. So, you got to play fundamentally sound football, and it's going to be a heck of a ball game.
Thanks, Coach.
Steve Isbitz, if any media have questions, please raise your hand.
Coach, how well is Carlton Davis playing right now, and how long do you think it really took him to get his game fully back after the quad injury?
He's playing very well right now. I think it took him about 2.5, maybe 3 weeks to get it back. He's flying around. He understands the game. He's hungry, and being injured, he didn't have to go through the whole grind of the season, so he should have fresh legs. So we expect him to be faster than a lot of guys on defense.
And Coach, did your coaching staff or your players, did they have fun with the video of Bruce Arians smacking Andrew Adams in the head? Was that kind of a fun thing around the locker room?
No, we didn't even discuss that.
We'll go to John Ledyard.
Todd, Matt Stafford's obviously been awesome against the blitz this season, and some of the best production of any quarterback in the NFL when teams send 5 or more rushers at him. Obviously, everybody knows that the Bucs and you like to blitz a lot, but does seeing his success rate maybe change some of the things or the approach or how you go about blitzing?
No, it all depends on what's in the game plan. We can do a lot or a little depending on how we see everything fitting with our guys first and worry about them second. But he's done a heck of a job. He's been a heck of a quarterback for a long time, one of the best in the game. And we got our hands full whether we blitz him or whether we play coverage. So we're just going to go out and play our game, and we just got to be disciplined.
Thanks.
Last question will come from Leo Haggerty.
Coach, the Rams are probably the team that does the most pre-snap shifting and motion and a lot of late motion. How hard is that to communicate any changes in the defense?
They have a good scheme that way with the jet motions and the double motions and everything like that. But we've seen quite a bit of it this year, so we've kind of gotten used to it. But they do a very good job in their scheme of it. We're just going to have to be sharp and make sure our communication is sharp.
All right, that's all we have. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.